everybody, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Leah Catherine, this is Leah Sees Movies, and we are back with the next episode of Young Justice. Last week was our season 3 mid-season finale, so we finally rescued Tara. We confirmed she's doing some double agent spy stuff with Deathstroke. We have fully cured Cyborg of the influence of the father box. I just have to keep repeating this. Violet is actually the reincarnated soul of a mother box, and we are just cool with that. We're just accepting that as fact and moving on. Crazy. We have identified Granny Goodness as an existential threat to all metahumans and raided all of the depots last episode. And so now that we're moving on to kind of the next phase of storytelling, I think we're going to be focusing a little bit more, I would guess, we're going to be focusing a little bit more on A, Tara, and, you know, the information she's feeding to Deathstroke, and B, I know that they showed Granny Goodness with her battle gear in the thumbnail, so she's going to do something today, and I didn't think of a wild theory last episode, so I definitely need one now. So I've decided Granny Goodness is going to, after realizing that her good goggles no longer work because the heroes have figured out that she's using it to identify metahumans, she's going to put some meta-identifying chemical in high fructose corn syrup. And that's going to activate all the metas, and then they're going to kidnap them, and it's going to be through a cereal that is pirate-themed. It's very specific. That's my theory. I'm sure I'm right. I'm always right. 100% of the time, I'm correct. So yeah, high fructose corn syrup. That's my theory for this episode. That's how Granny Goodness is going to find new metas. Watch this space. Alright, so with that theory, I'm going to stop talking. Let's get started. Is that blood?
I'm not seeing or hearing any survivors under the rubble.
I guess yes.
There's no evidence this was done by any apocalyptic kakash.
Yeah, the ring won't translate that last word, but I can tell you what it means.
This ring follows the Hays Code. No bad words for these adults.
I assume your scans confirm the nth metal stockpiles here have
Been stolen, yes, Lieutenant Thal.
And thus Apocalypse checks another rare raw material off its grocery list.
As scans have only detected Earthling biosigns. But fortunately for your
Metahumans,
friends,
probably.
not their biosigns.
You've been scanning us?
Smart. Trust no one.
That accent is crazy. Remember when people were shocked by Bill Burr in The Mandalorian? Like, OMG, there's a space Boston? Yeah.
mind-controlled into violent action. We've seen it.
Sung this song before, during your first contact apology tour. You claimed then that you and Lieutenant Thal were mind-controlled into violent acts on Rimbor. Thanagar is still working to repair our reputation from that.
You know, in hindsight, yeah, it does look like the Justice League is rolling around quite frequently being like, we keep being mind-controlled. Sorry. At some point, as another planet who keeps getting invaded by your bullshit, I too would be like, you know what? If you guys can't control yourself and or stop being mind-controlled, someone's gonna have to step in.
But I found an ion trail from the attacker's ship. They flew away on their own power, meaning they screwed up and we have a new lead. You kind of want to kiss the ring now, don't you?
Carlos!
I can't believe he's the Carlos of the Justice League.
I believe this is your first breakfast burrito.
My sister and I were raised in a castle where eating with one's hands was not encouraged.
I guessing you only ate with those silver spoons you were born with, huh?
Hey, get him.
Your life with your eminent scientist father was one of economic hardship?
No.
Your parents are upper middle class.
But Brione, Tara, Violet, Forager, we feel the four of you are ready to work with the Justice League's covert ops team to help mankind.
They literally just rescued Tara 5 days ago from being an abducted child slave who was forced to kill people. And they're like, hey, want to do some superhero work?
I've made my choice, and Bialia has proven I made the right one. To protect the innocent, no matter the danger.
You can tell Black Canary's not running the team anymore, because nary a mention of therapy up in this bitch anymore. Just go fight some people.
And you need to know there is no shame in leaving this life behind.
Also,
A few years back, I quit the team with Wally West.
Came back to the life and sacrificed everything.
I mean, I appreciate that they're giving options, but...
And today's the day we are to make this important life decision?
Exactly.
Yeah. Today's the day.
It's not really a choice then.
The Justice League discovered that the entertainment device known as Good VR...
That's so crazy to me. Like, he's Aquaman now.
That's my baby, and I'm real proud.
These devices secretly test users for the metagene. To save lives placed in immediate danger by this scheme, the Justice League took swift action to shut down these trafficking centers. Those rescued will be counseled and rehabilitated here, at the Star Labs Meta-Human Youth Center.
I have been saying for a season and a half they needed a meta-teen plan, but telling the entire world that is trafficking meta-teens where exactly you're keeping the meta-teens. Not a great plan.
Heroes failed to coordinate with local authorities. The big players in the meta-trafficking game vanished into the woodwork.
Cooperation, folks. That's how a society achieves justice. The people demand it. Social media demands it. Foreign governments demand it while threatening sanctions. Please welcome Gretchen Good, the pop culture icon known as Granny Goodness.
Thank you, G. Gord.
I wish these shows were less realistic, but it's like, hey, exposed by the Justice League for assisting in the trafficking of children, and then being like, welcome to my show. And you'd be like, oh, that's such a ridiculous thing they'd only do in a cartoon, right?
As I get my responsibility to own up to our mistakes.
Why, Granny, I expected a denial, a counter.
Is she just like, yes, we are trafficking children?
Yes. I'm afraid one of my closest friends, Jakar Marlowe.
Always pin it on the dead guy. That's the move.
He perverted our goggles without my knowledge or permission.
Sounds like you have the evidence to bring this scoundrel to justice.
I do.
Coincidentally, he's dead.
But Mr. Marlowe was found murdered this past August. True justice will be served up by your dear old Granny. All of my faulty devices have been recalled. I'll soon be offering new and improved technologies for the people's entertainment.
Now, if I bought an Oculus, and then a bunch of them got implicated in child trafficking, I simply would not want a replacement. Like, oh, we can send you a new one for free. You know what? I'm good on that. Maybe I'll switch to a Vive. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna go back to the same brand of child traffickers.
My purse!
That seems like overkill, to be honest.
Gosh, oh my gosh, you're Garfield Logan! Thank you!
And you are trending. Excellent work, Garfield. Your mother would be so...
Don't even mention my mom, and cut the granny gimmick. I know what you are, Gretchen.
Okay, dude.
You really have no idea what I am.
He doesn't, but if you do that, at least play it chill. Get more information. You got something very useful by working for her. Continue to spy for them. Don't just say, hello, I'm aware you're the bad guy. I want you to know that I know you're the bad guy. And can no longer get any...
Tis a vision that's just world class.
I'm trying to talk over his singing because I'm truly not enjoying it.
Truly surpass is the sunrise over the gentle curves of Guy Gardner shapely.
Gosh.
I appreciate the lyricism.
Great Scott! Up ahead!
Great Scott! Nerd.
Asteroid base. One that's easily twice the size of the watchtower.
Great Scott! That's so corny.
Every day, the team recruits a new member. Today, I'm happy to welcome 4. Terra, Geoforce, Halo, and Forager. Thrilled we have another alien on the team.
That makes me really happy.
And 2 more girls. We're keeping pace.
Despite my outward appearance, I do not know that
Hey!
I'm a girl or a boy, as Earth languages define the words.
But your soul, it's from...
A
Mother box.
An approximate English translation of the new Genesian word for what I was.
They said non-binary hijabi, we're giving you everything. Like, yeah, one more for the diversity box. This team's doing great.
Superboy and Tigress are rejoining the team.
Keeping an eye on us?
Totally.
Spending more time with my fiance.
That's right.
Yeah, I want back on the team.
That's not smart.
I put Gretchen good on notice.
Which was poor thinking.
And I'm here to help take her down.
Turn into a lizard and spy on her.
It's been 2 years since the hall was destroyed, and the committee to renovate the site is deadlocked. Now imagine this process, Luther's process, applied to the life and death missions of the Justice League.
How do you find the time to be a leader of nations and the super villain the League frames you to be?
It is exhausting, G. Gordon.
I mean, aside from his, like, literal supervillainy, just holding up, like, legislation isn't really supervillainy. That's just Mitch McConnelly. Like, that's really basic, lazy shit to do. Does not take that much effort. Just like, should we bring this to the floor for discussion?
We watch the
No!
Watchtower, but who watches the Watchmen?
Is that not trademarked?
My sister Lena now runs LexCorp.
Ms. Luthor recently made headlines by pledging LexCorp funds to the Metahuman Youth Center.
Also, are they not concerned that two of the biggest financial backers of the, I repeat, Metahuman Youth Center for trafficked metateens are people who are directly implicated in the trafficking of metateens? Frankly, y'all should just lie. Be like, we'll take your money, but we're housing them somewhere else.
I was laying a trap for these vermin. The time to hide is over. Now we can fight. We serve only Darkseid. And through me, his will be done.
Amen.
It was discipline.
Oh, that's why.
I love Barda enough to punish her for her own good. But you'll see torture soon enough.
You know, there is something deeply weird about American entertainment where they have to bleep the word ass because, you know, what about the children? But torture, we can teach that to them very young. They get the basics early.
I'm getting my old body back. And the only space
How?
I need is my own room. If I have to hear your phone chime, another text from Violet, I may go off father box on you guys.
It is from Violet. How did you...
Please, she's always texting you.
Victor refuses to return to his father or Star Labs, and I believe I could be of service to him. But I would need a fully equipped laboratory to provide any assistance.
Don't give her a lab.
I realize it's a lot.
I can't tell if he's smiling because he's like, yeah, she's doing exactly what I want her to do, which is to get a lab right under their nose and then do some nefarious shenanigans. Because otherwise, like, that information isn't really helpful.
Missiles through their shields. Hitting target. Now!
I like that.
The
children.
I think we found them. All of them. Scans read all of the stolen elements within it. Can you tell what it's designed? Furies! Attack!
I don't know if I like Barda's voice. Okay, but on fashion, the Furies are winning, so I'm supporting them.
The pain. So excruciating, so glorious, so instructive.
What in the Ramsey Bolton? Is it just like the pain tube?
You saved me.
Switch sides, baby girl! Because clearly this side isn't checking for you.
Go!
Oh, not the vacuum of space.
Showboats.
True justice will be served up by your dear old granny. All of my faulty devices have been recalled. Good World Studios will continue funding the Metahuman Youth Center for families harmed by Marlowe's betrayal.
Who just believes that? I think that's the only thing. I think the social media, the news organizations as they've been represented, I feel like that's fairly accurate. Yeah, I think it presents like actual humans that live on this planet as so stupid. Like, you know how like 2 people died off meeting someone on Craigslist and the Craigslist killer became a whole thing? Like, up until now, people are like, yeah, Craigslist, you know, you get something, you get your furniture off Craigslist, you get a roommate off Craigslist if you want to die. Partially, it's because they haven't updated their font since 2005, and that font looks a little murdery. But the point is, something bad happened with a company, and that association has been permanently made in the zeitgeist. Which isn't to say people don't still use Craigslist, but it's at least like a thought. Like if you say I'm meeting up with someone on Craigslist, one of your friends or loved ones is gonna be like, hey, send me your location just in case. So now, hey, this company is part of metahuman trafficking, and then that same company is like, whoopsies, I was betrayed, but thankfully the guy who did it is dead, and either I knew he was doing this or our goods got recalled, and then in like 24 hours I figured out that this guy who died last August is actually the one who's been doing this. Like, no one thinks it's suspicious. She had all this information ready to go, but she wasn't somehow involved. Okay, sure. And but all of this happens, and no one's gonna like, no, like, I'm not gonna believe you. One dude in R&D did all of this with no help from anyone. Granny Good, like anyone who can work for you can vouch that, like, you know, Gretchen Goodness, she knows everything that's happening in the company. She knows all. But this one thing, this really big thing, no idea. Sure. They're always talking in the show, which, you know, isn't wrong, about, you know, the Justice League communicating with local authorities and police forces and all of that. But they don't seem to do shit, because once the big arrest is made by the League of, hey, the Goggles are doing XYZ, why isn't all of her company being raided? Why is she just allowed to go on Tucker Carlson and say, hey, sorry, it was this one dude in R&D, I didn't know about it, sorry, like, we're recalling them, like it's a bad frozen burrito. Like, no wonder Commissioner Gordon just uses the freaking bat signal. No one in that organization does any work. They're like, could you do your own detective work and just follow up on all this information we've given you? And they're like, absolutely not. She went on the news and said she was sorry, so we're done now. I started talking very fast there, so sorry if you lost some of it. I don't know. I think it is starting to really bother me that everyone in this world is really stupid. Like, I want actual consequences. It's funny because I've asked earlier if we could see a little bit more of like people reacting to things, and finally in this episode they have them showing tweets against the League, which, okay, progress. But I'm like, can we just see like a civilian? I feel like we never see them anymore. All of our fight scenes are in abandoned warehouses or volcanoes or caves or whatever. With this episode, we finally got to see the Justice League, which I did actually really enjoy, and they're off-world. I just don't feel like we've seen a civilian in a really long time. Like, we've seen the meta teams who are civilians who've been kidnapped, but like, they're still part of the action. Like, I haven't seen just like people that exist in this world. I haven't seen a parent whose kid got kidnapped. I haven't, like, if your child has been kidnapped and they get rescued by the Justice League, and now everyone's going on the news being like, why didn't they talk to the UN? But like, wouldn't you have something to say about that? Wouldn't you have an opinion on this? Like, there's just no ideological back and forth, and this whole season has just been like, no matter what the Justice League does, everybody hates them. And it gets a little repetitive, but it gets a little frustrating too. Like, it doesn't make sense. We got Barda and the Furies, and I don't know, like, I know things about Barda, but I've also forgotten them, to be completely honest. So I'm just kind of going, I know that she's cool, and I remember liking her when I remembered stuff about her. And I like her costume, and I like that they're called the Furies. Big Greek mythology nerd, so hell yeah. And I don't know. I can't tell if this is knowledge that I've forgotten but slightly remember, or if this is just like wish fulfillment, but I hope she switches sides. Like, I want her to be a good guy. I feel like she does become a good guy. Am I crazy? Because she dates like a magician, right? Time will tell, I guess. Circling back to what I said earlier, I do think it's weird that we're totally cool with, you know, children being exposed to torture very early in life. Like, that's completely normal. But, you know, if they see a boob, they're like, oh no. What if they have off-the-shoulder shirts in middle school? Who knows what'll happen? Chaos. Then it's just like, alright, this is rated E for everyone. Bring your 7th grader, as Granny Goodness is like, oh yeah, torture them some more. That's what it gets me going. Like, at what age are you too young for like bare shoulders, but like old enough for BDSM? Like, that's just... Circle back to what else did I miss in this episode besides the stuff that I harped on in extreme detail. So yes, they join the team. Aqualad is Aquaman. Unanswered questions about that. More Static Shock, I'm hoping. Non-binary Violet, good for her / them. They, she, whatever she's rolling with, that's fine too. Tara is doing some spying on the very, very shady Dr. Jace, who just wants a lab so she can help the kids. Obviously, that's her only motivation. It's helping children. And also she had a dead daughter or something. Anyway, Cyborg does not want to do superhero things. He's still convinced he can get his regular body back. I hope that's not like a 7-episode arc and he just like maybe leans into acceptance like a little bit earlier on. Just because I feel like, yeah, you're not going to get it back. So let's just skip a couple stages of, you know, denial, regret, anger, all of that. Just skip to the end. His father box has been wiped, but he was still able to, like, I guess, sense an incoming text before it arrived, which means, like, could he sense electromagnetic waves happening and also be able to decode the information contained within those waves and do it before they even, like, actually arrived to the phone? I mean, I feel like that would be in the realm of Cyborg's abilities, but obviously he's not comfortable with them yet. He's also not really comfortable doing anything yet. So until we get to that point, we can't really have fun with all of the things he's capable of doing. We did get to see more Thanagarians. I didn't mention that, but the Earth's reputation is in the dumps, truly. Like, we are the ghetto. Other aliens lock their doors when they drive past Earth. Like, we are not. They do not respect us here, and you know what? They're fair. It's totally valid. We haven't earned it. We've been putting out a lot of nonsense into the universe and just making our problems everyone else's problems in this world. So I get it. Oh, I just realized though, since they are joining the team properly, and Artemis and Connor are also rejoining the deep cover team. Obviously Nightwing did not, so is he going to continue to do some stuff on the side with, what's his face, Jefferson? And that's just going to be kind of like, we're going to be focusing on the proper team, maybe a couple more flashbacks to the League now that we're in the second half of the season, and then also occasionally we'll spin in and out and have like Nightwing and Black Lightning doing their own little thing and seeing how it pertains to the cases of our main characters. Because I'd be kind of sad if this was like the end of Nightwing as a main character, because I really like Nightwing. Even though he's very serious now, which makes me a little sad, but it's the price of leadership, I guess. Everyone gets a little less fun once you're like in charge of people dying and whatnot. So I guess we'll see. And as for my prediction, there was no high fructose corn syrup poisoning of the population, but frankly, it would make more sense than people rebuying the human trafficking goggles. That doesn't make any sense. There should be a scene of like, oh, the Gretchen Goodness Company is now buying snacks, like they own Nabisco. Like, yeah, you need a new way to get in. I guess maybe they can't, I don't know, program go to this location to get kidnapped instructions into like corn chips, but who is going back for round 2? Doesn't make sense. So I actually think my prediction made more sense than the actual plot, and I'd argue the point. So on that note, which is that I'm right and they should listen to me, I'm going to end this here. Thank you guys for watching so much. If you enjoyed this, please like, subscribe, comment, etc. All of those good things that make me very, very happy. If you don't want to do any of that, but you've watched all the way to the end of this video, thank you. I still really appreciate you. You can follow me on Twitter at Leah Sees Movies, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace!